Hey everyone, welcome back to another exciting episode of Tactical Productions. Today I'm Bancroft and being joined by Nick as we go over his Cell Surge deck. Before we go any further,
These are extra.
Wicked Saiyans is a secret rare that kind of
most absolutely trade with.
had a very interesting rolling this past some time ago. I'm not sure how long ago it was, where pretty much a player just tapped like one card and the effect worked for it not being played. We talked about this in your matchup with Matt. Pretty much at our shop, we're going to continue playing it as the must-be-4 cards. I know that may be wrong to some of you all, but until Bandai gets us an actual like rolling on that card, that's how we're going to play it. But Nick does have a backup secret rare if you don't like that one. So Nick, let's get into that.
Yeah, so we'll get to that in a minute. But Cell Surge, pretty standard. Everybody knows what the leader does. Search top 5, pick a card you like, add it to your hand, take whatever card you want in your hand, put it in the drop area. Does have the Surge ability, green card, yellow card, put it underneath, flip the leader over. Won't go too much onto it, so everybody knows what that does. So the way I have this organized is how I like to play the deck out. So we'll start with 3 EDKs. Just the perfect extra card. So the way it works,
Jimmy.
What?
Thanks. Continue.
What?
the way it works.
Hey, they were disrespectful and read over mine.
You got a green card in your energy. This will work. Activate battle. Give your leader or battle card plus 15k. Pick a card out of your opponent's hand, send it to the drop area. So I like to do this early on in the game just to get the hand control started. Really good defensive piece. That's the way I normally use it. You don't want to swing with the leader this much or with anything unless you're really going for big pushes or game. So this is just a really good defensive piece to keep your life high. Next piece, we got 4 Ribrianne. Self-explanatory. Tap 2 green. Send it to the warp. If it's in the drop area, your opponent discards 2. This is the way I like to normally play my turn 2s out. It's really easy to see this card just because you see your hand. You see the top 5 cards of your hand, or deck, sorry. So easy to see, just works, just staple in the deck. And then if you're playing an aggro matchup, next one is Majin Buu, Unadulterated Malice. Counterattack, it's Bupo. You discard a card from hand, your opponent has to discard 2 if they want to attack for the turn. So really easy to stop turns with this card. Play it later in the game. Your opponent doesn't have much of a hand; they just can't attack. So really good defensive piece. It can get hit by things. It's pretty easy to be counterplayed, so you kind of have to be careful. But if your opponent doesn't have much in hand, they're not going to be able to touch it anyway. Then turn 3, I like to go into the Dark Broly Unison. Pretty much staple for this deck now. Very sticky. It's a tap 3 energy to do plus 2, so it's going to be 5 markers the turn you play it. So really hard for your opponent to get rid of. Really good for clearing stuff. Really good for clearing unisons. Really good for pressuring your leader. It has the auto where if you remove a marker, it is errata to where it's a non-keyword skill. If you remove a marker from it, your opponent discards a card. So in theory, you can get your opponent dropping 2 cards every turn with this on its own. Really good for keeping your opponent's hand low, and then also with the plus 2, your opponent has to KO a card on the battlefield. So if they play a card, essentially they're going to get rid of it. You're going to make them get rid of it no matter what. And then usually is when I like to awaken. So my awaken turn, Cell Dark Parasite, staple for any Cell deck. Just one of the yellow cards you need to get your leader to awaken. Send it once it's in your drop area. Send it to the warp. Draw a card. You can also take a life. This will help getting you down to 4 lives to turn your super combos on. It's also really good to keep your hand healthy because there's no inherent draw power on the leader. So this is one of those pieces that keep your hand healthy. Then one of the other yellow cards we use is Saiyan Instincts. It's, like I said, another yellow card. If you have nothing to do on your turn, you tap 2, send it to the warp, you draw 2 cards. Just another good healthy hand piece. Then the last yellow card we run is Bardock the Eliminator. You only want to use this as your yellow piece, and then it's just a mini Saiyan Instincts. Instead of tapping 2, you tap 1, and then you draw 1 card. So just yellow piece, just helps you awaken. Then we run 4 Deborah, Dark Dominion. This is one of the pieces to help your opponent discard cards and keep your consistency up. The way it works is you'll discard it from your hand. You'll remove a marker from your Unison, and you'll grab a Dark Dragon Ball from your deck or drop area. So this is one of the pieces where it's okay to drop cards from your hand because you'll be able to pick stuff back up. Then it's also making your opponent pitch a card once you do it with the Unison, Dark Broly Unison. Then for the package for the Dark Dragon Ball, We run 3 1-star ball, 3 surprise attacks, 3 Frieza Dark Infestations. Surprise attack will come out whenever you KO opponent's card. Doesn't have to be with the skill, so you can swing at a battle card. Swing at something. If it gets removed by battle, that's considered KOing. Your Dark Broly Unison will KO battle cards. Your leader's Surge ability will also make them KO a card with the second ability. So it's really easy to get this out on the field. Then you have a 15k crit body to swing with. Dark Dragon Ball. This will let your Frieza restand, so you can grab a Xeno Frieza, which was Dark Infestation is the one we play. Double Striker. If your opponent has 3 or more energy and you send this card, if the card you KO to remove a battle by a skill, you can grab a green extra card with energy cost of 1, add it back to your hand. So you can grab the Dark Dragon Ball back, or you can grab EDK with it. I like to grab EDK mostly just to get that defensive stuff. Then it has an activate main. You can send the card to the warp, choose one of your opponent's cards and discard it. So get that hand control still going strong, and then if your opponent's at 3, you also get the effect of getting your extra cards back. And then this is more like the tech stuff. Charismatic Villain, just your staple counterplay card. So KOs any problematic card coming into play. So if they want to play like a big beefy boy or if a big piece, you can just pop it immediately.
I'm sorry to interrupt here, but did you say this is the tech stuff and you laid down a green staple?
Yeah, it's tech. You don't really need Charismatic Villain in this list. I mean, you KO a lot of stuff inherently. It's not needed. Next one, Newfound Power Son Gohan. This one, kind of a weird guy. I usually charge it more than anything, but it's a crit. So you swing with it, you get a 15k crit. This also helps you get your life down a little bit lower too. So if you want to turn your super combos on, you can do it that way. This one's just paired with the crit Frieza, just resource denial. So your opponent has to think about if they want to combo their hand away to keep their life, or just get rid of their life so you can go for game. And then we got 2 Rosie Blast manipulator. I almost want to run this to 3, but because whenever I play it, drop it is usually huge, or it's game ending that way. But I like it at 2. I see it enough, so it's fine. Deflect, when you play, your opponent's pitches 2 cards, then it gets triple attack for the turn. Really good for clearing stuff out, clearing unisons if they have a lot of markers. Swing 3 times, get rid of it. Really good for pushing for game. So you get 3 swings, so you get a lot of attacks. So you get this on board, you're able to clear a lot or go for game with it. Then we also have 2 Son Goku Spirit Bomb Unleashed. I love this card. This card's great. You limit 1 for 1 green energy. If you have a green Unison card in play, you can play it. Then you remove a marker from your opponent's Unison. So if they have a Unison, you can help pressure it down. And then the Spirit Boost is where it's really at. You Spirit Boot X. You can remove as many markers as you want from your Unison. Give this card +5 for each marker you remove, and then if you remove more than 2 markers, it'll gain double strike for the turn. So really good for going for game. Your Dark Broly Unison, you usually have a lot of markers. Like at one point I've had like over 10 markers on my Dark Broly Unison. Just depends on the matchup, but you make this guy really super tall, go for game. A lot of times your opponent doesn't have a hand, so that you just win with this. So like it, it's good, works. Now the end cards, we got Defending Father Pegasus is the super combo for the deck. Straightforward. If your life's at 4, you draw 2, warp 1. I like this one mostly just because it has the plus 10,000 inherently. It doesn't gain it, so even if like your opponent removes skills, or you can't, like for some reason, like if you're playing yellow, or if you can't activate skills in your card, you still have a 10,000 combo piece. And then you can you draw the cards before you send them to the warp, so you have a little more hand manipulation that way. So that's why I like this one. And then final pieces, we got Dark Temptation Toa. Simple, Overwhelm 3. Give your leader +5, then your opponent pitches a card. So keeping on that pressure with getting your opponent's hand down to nothing, and then it also buffs your leader, so your leader can go get tall as well. Then for the secret rare, we are running the Wicked Saiyans. I know we had that big preface at the beginning of the video, but I like the card a lot. It works pretty well in this deck with the ruling we have currently. So if your opponent for 2, if you combo with the card, your opponent can choose to tap 4 things. If they don't, this will come into play and your opponent discards 2 from their hand. Then you have, if your leader card's green or matches any of the green, yellow, or matches any of the characters on the card, this will gain dual attack and blocker. Very, very strong card. Now, if the ruling says the way we think it is, then your opponent can't tap 4 cards. You play the card. Really good. If your opponent has a field card on board and they tap that and this card goes away, that's booty meat. So it just in case that doesn't work, the next secret rare choice would be Majin Buu, Kibito Kai Absorbed. Really good for stopping turns. If you activate battle for 2, you play the card, your opponent can attack for battle cards for the turn. So if for some reason you can't control the board enough and they go wide, you can stop turns to keep yourself alive for another turn. You don't really want to do the Spirit Boost where you steal their Unison, because you kind of want to keep your Dark Broly Unison alive, because that's how your main hand control engine works. So you don't really want to do that, but it sometimes may work. I just haven't found a need for it. I just like the stopping of the battle cards swings, and then you got a 40k double strike on board. So either one of these two would work. Just depends on your preference and rulings, but I like them both. They both work in the deck. You saw a couple games that I played with it. You get your opponent's hand down to nothing real easily. Then you just go big, get all their life down to 0 in one big turn.
Well, hopefully a clarification for Wicked Saiyans will come into more play. I do believe it was a bad call, but hey, if I'm wrong, so be it. I just think a secret rare for 2 energy for your opponent to tap 1 card is kind of garbage. That being said, hope you all enjoyed today's video. Keep in mind there's links down below, something, I don't know, buttons, there it is, that's the word, and stuff on the screen. Like always, read your cards, know your plays, and fluff out.